Oh, well, hello, all my wonderful broskies and broskies of the Maverick Nation, and welcome. I am the Direction of Maverick. Welcome to a little special trinket of a video. The man who can, Dio Brando, here, he has suggested another little something for me to do. And I replied to him that it might take some time, and that it also might be. Basically, I basically said it would take some time, but that it could also be an exciting experience. Seeing as I don't really know all that much about this character, or at least I know more than I did know before I searched up a little bit about the character. Hmm. For those of you that have read the title, instead of just, butt dialing equivalent of trying to find a video and just clicking because you saw a pretty thumbnail, well, thank you. I do try. But for those of you who just freaking did the internet equivalent of butt dialing, this is going to be what if Izuku was Ultraman. I have no idea what to do. I like have jack shit and all of an idea of like what to freaking do. I have something, but I'm not exactly sure if it's gonna be something that's gonna work. Shit. Hmm. Well, okay, I have an idea. Let's say that it wasn't exactly the last day of middle school. Actually, no, it was kind of during elementary school. You know, all of the kids were on the bus because they were going to go home because this was after school. They were going home, and everybody was on the bus. You know, but the roads, they were kind of slick, and so, like, the bus was kind of swerving around a little bit. Then all of a sudden, out of the driver's peripheral vision, he can see a light in the sky. No, it looks like it's getting bigger. And Izuku can see this too. He can see what the driver sees. The light looks like it's getting bigger, bigger, and bigger. Almost like something is coming towards them. This almost reminds him of something like you would see or hear on TV, like about flying saucers. But, none of that stuff could be real. Actually, it's getting way too close now for it not to be real. It's getting super close, like really fast. Like Izuku's trying to shake the driver to like move, just like, but the driver is like glossy eyed. He's like praying to God, like, please save us. He has no idea what to do. He's just seeing this, and all of a sudden, like, it's like somebody put the fear of God in that man. And Izuku is just like, somebody, we have to do something. And basically, like, whenever Izuku tries to like stop the bus like on purpose, like to like slam down on the brake, he accidentally breaks the brake. And so now it's like spiraling even more out of control, getting even closer to this big white, silverish white object that's in the freaking sky. And now it's colliding closer and closer towards them. And several of the kids that have finally noticed what's going on are like closing their eyes, or like sheltering their heads, like they think that's going to do anything to save them. And they're like crying and they're like begging for this job to just be a nightmare. But Izuku knows it's all too real. And then all of a sudden, wham! It just hits. And the next thing Izuku knows, the giant white thing that slammed into the bus, it hit it so hard that Izuku got ejected through the other end of like the opposite window of the side of the bus that he was on. And he got just slammed onto the concrete. So yeah, Izuku's pretty busted up, like by the sheer force of how bad he like flew straight into the concrete. But he is able to see that something is trying to get out of the giant white, silverish looking thing. And, well, he can't really describe what it looks like. But he can tell that it is trying to say something to him. Something about a nebula M78 or something. I believe it was M78. It was like Nebula M something. And that's basically all that Izuku can really get. He also hears something about like a color timer or something. And then basically Izuku just feels like he's getting absorbed by this big flash of light. And then whenever Izuku wakes up again, he's at his house in his bed. And Inko just comes into his room and is just like, Izuku, Izuku. And, Izuku's just like, uh, the, uh, what just happened? And Inko's just like, well, two things, maybe three. One of them is that aliens might just be real, and the other thing is, you somehow managed to survive that, even though, uh, by all means, you probably should be dead. And the third thing being this, there's something on your chest. We can't quite remove it, and it's blinking weirdly. Huh? You mean this? It feels weird. Almost like it's tied to me for a reason. And basically, throughout the years, like, since they found this thing on Izuku's chest, they haven't really been able to get it off, so they just ended up, like, stopped trying. And they actually find, like, the little button chest piece thing grows with Izuku. Like, it will grow with size, like, with Izuku. So it just doesn't stay, like, tiny sized forever. And, Izuku's just like, well, that's something. And then all of a sudden, like for, like the night, like the last night of middle school, like like the last day of middle school, so like it's like at night and Izuku's trying to sleep, he would just hear some sort of weird transmission from someone. Zophie, something. What? What about a... He can't really hear them clearly, but he thinks they heard them say something about Nebula M. He's just really weirded out. And, basically, Izuku is just like, oh god, what do I do? And then eventually, the whole sludge villain incident. I'm gonna say the sludge villain incident happened as usual. And that's why Izuku is just, himself. He did get to meet All Might, but All Might still made the same comment that everyone does about the whole chest piece thing. And, Izuku makes the same excuse, it's just a thing that's around. And some people have even been saying that it might be part of like some sort of transmutation quirk. And then Katsuki Bakugo, Mr. Kachan here, has to correct them and say Izuku is a quirkless Deku. So he doesn't have a quirk. He's just a big freaking quirkless Deku. He's basically nothing. Piece of trash. Less than nothing. And Izuku's just like, that's just how it is. That's just how it be. And by the time it gets to the entrance exams, is whenever some things will actually start to get interesting. Because, Izuku, he's doing his own thing, you know, and basically Izuku and Bakugo would both go barreling in and try to get as many points as possible. And, they'd be taking down the small fries. But then, like, Izuku would see Bakugo running in the opposite direction, and he would kind of look like he has panic on his face. Like, Izuku and Bakugo have been doing this for quite some time, so he's kind of wondering why would he be looking panicked unless there's something even worse than the other robots. And Izuku already has a lot of cuts and scrapes on him. But he does indeed realize that even though he has the cuts and scrapes, he doesn't really feel that hurt. The only time he actually feels like he feels something is whenever they get really close to hitting, like, the chest piece thing. And for some reason, Izuku actually gave it a name. Just something that popped into his head after he had that whole dream, like, conversation with this Zophie person, whatever. Color timer. Yeah, for some reason, it tends to blink every so, you know, just every so often. However, you know, it was kind of blinking pretty weird whenever he got hit very close to that area. Almost like it's a weak point instead of a strong point. And Izuku's like, ah, great. This thing has to be a showing of weakness instead of something I can use to my advantage. It shows just how much of a disappointment I am. Just great. What was All Might even thinking, giving me one for all? What am I gonna do with it? And, Izuku's just beating himself up until he hears Ochako like, help! And basically, like, Izuku's just beating himself up, but he hears Ochako and it's like, huh? Wait, there's a really big robot. That robot is going to squash that girl. The one who kept me from tripping earlier today. She called herself Ochako. Ochako Uraka. I can't let this happen, but what am I supposed to do? I just now realized that the only thing this thing is good for is basically telling me how weak I am. Ugh. Oh, this is so infuriating. I just wish all of this would go away. Ugh. And all of a sudden Izuku would hear, do you want to be a hero? Then act like it. I don't know about you, but if a certain someone I know, by the name of Ultra 7, saw you acting like this, he would heckle the hell out of me. And I'm not gonna let Ultra 7 get the chance to beat me down because you can't get a confidence boost. Now, listen clearly to the words I'm about to say, Izuku. I am Ultraman, and you, that little piece that you were just calling a weakness, it is known as color. Basically, it's blinking like that because basically it's reacting accordingly to the way the situation is going. That red, it means basically you're getting screwed over. And if it turns black, you're gonna get conked out really bad. Though there have been moments where, after the color timer goes black, I've been able to fight. Well, those are few and far between. Plus, it still doesn't feel very pleasant. So, I at least think that you should be, smart enough to actually plan ahead. Anyways, if we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this right. Understood? I'm not going to have Ultra 7 laughing at me. Not ever again. That guy needs to learn respect. And how am I ever going to teach him respect unless I can find a way to get your head back in your game? Even if it does mean we pull a little bit of a cheat code. After all, you still have that girl to save and an exam to finish. Isn't that right, Izuku Midoriya? And Izuku's just like, who are you? You said you were Ultraman? Is that what you... Yes, I'm Ultraman. And, as of now, I'm going to be linking our powers together. Merging them. Now, you will be Ultraman. With me. And it's basically just like, yeah, with me. And it's just like, it's kind of like that scene in Predator. It's just like where they clasp hands, just like, yeah, just like that. And then all of a sudden, there's like this big light, whoosh. And then all of a sudden, like, you don't see Izuku Midori, you see Ultraman. And Ultraman then proceeds to, Ultraman Izuku just then proceeds to kick the ever living shit out of the Zero Pointer. Just like freaking Saban Power Ranger versus freaking giant monster style. Just kick the absolute shit out of it. And just beating the ever living shit. Just having a field day. You're just freaking George K. Oh my. Oh my. But towards the end, like the color, I forget, is it color timer or something? I keep on forgetting the name of the damn thing. It starts blinking red, and basically this is a signal. Basically, Ultraman explains it's a signal. Yeah, basically they're losing power, so they gotta finish this quick. And what better way to finish it quick than to basically go gear second on its ass, like boom, go, no shit, like just one punch man, punch of freaking death. Like that's literally they literally pull a one punch man, like death punch, like the serious punch, serious punch, death, boom. That's literally what happens. He gets freaking serious punch of death. Like, that's what the Zero Pointer is. Just like the Zero Pointer's right there. Freaking like Izuku as Ultraman's right there, and he just leaps straight in front of the Zero Pointer, and right as he's about to hit it, it's like death, boom, and the Zero Pointer is no more. But Izuku is literally like the thing literally turns black. The color switch thing, whatever, like color timer. I think I'm not sure. I think I might be able to get a better handle on whatever this thing's called in later parts. I'm not sure, but I'm not gonna make any damn promises because I just don't like making promises I can't keep. So yeah, basically Izuku can't really freaking move. Like he's literally like limp while he's falling. Like all movement. It's almost like he's a dead corpse falling like from Niagara Falls. And no, that was not an attempted pun. And that does not mean it was a successful pun either. It was just, Niagara Falls is a pretty good height, I guess. So I guess that was a comparison I wanted to make. He's just limp while he's falling. He just has no energy to do anything. But he can't even really think. He's like vegetative state. Basically, Ochako uses a gravity quirk from afar. She's basically able to get Izuku and his Ultraman body to hover over towards her, and basically, after a while, Recover Girl gets to the scene, and finally they find a way to like power him out. Like basically, it's just like they get him conscious enough for his like brain to register. Oh yeah, that's right. We're still in the Ultraman form. Yeah, we should probably not do that. Like overexert ourselves to the point where we can't even de-transform. So yeah, that's something that Izuku had to figure out on his own without Ultraman's help. Like, figure out the hard way. Like the really freaking hard way. Yeah, he probably would have died had Ochako not used her gravity quirk. And, like, freaking Recovery Girl not been there. And so, yeah, basically, whenever Izuku gets home and eventually the letter comes in, it's the whole hologram thing with All Might. And he's like, you freaking pass, you go to UA, whatever, that stuff. And basically, Ultraman's in the back of Izuku's head, and he's just like, well, that's sure interesting. And Izuku's just like, he like pauses the hologram, and he's like, yeah, Ultraman, uh, I have a question, possibly several questions. Uh, Whenever I was younger and that whole spacecraft thing like fell into the bus, like crash landed into it and just lodged me out the other end, was that you who was piloting that ship? And yeah, no, just the look on Ultraman's face, he's just like, please don't tell Ultra 7 this, kid. But I have a very long history of not too good landing skills whenever it comes to Nebula M58 or 70 or whatever the frick the Nebula thing is. You know, landing skills. I don't have that good of a history of landing skills. So yeah, I guess you could say that was me. And the reason why it's been so long since we were able to interact is because, in a way, in order to fully repair your body to access my power, you kinda had to refuse interaction. Almost like a period of stabilization for the power you would eventually receive. Like stockpiling, or gathering food for a period of hibernation, and eventually releasing all that energy at one state. I guess you could kind of compare it to that. Well, anyways, kid, now that I'm here, you have any non-stupid questions you want to ask me? I'm just kidding, okay? And Izuku's just like, okay, that was weird. And Ultraman's just like, oh, what do you want from me? I'm not exactly in the best of situations either. And basically, Izuku would just be like, I just, I want to be a hero like All Might. One day, I will be a hero like All Might. At least that's what I once told myself, but now, after everything, I'm not so sure. And Ultraman's just like, if a hero is what you want to be, I mean, I already merged with you, and, you know. Don't tell Ultra 7 I said this, but we Ultras, kinda, we're kinda all some level of awesome. So yeah, it shouldn't be too hard for you to become a hero with me inside of you. And Izuku, just to be cheeky, he's just like, now which part of that did you not want me to tell Ultra 7? As if he's ever gonna come here. Why would he ever want to look for you? the sound of it, this Ultra 7 guy doesn't really sound very nice. He basically just sounds like your guy's equivalent to Kachan the way he acts. And Ultraman's just like, oh, so that explosion kid is Kachan. Oh, he's basically the Ultra 7 of your world. Well, kid, sorry to say, but I can't help you there. Seems we both have some level of crap lives, don't we? Looks like, I guess that's just one more reason that proves we need each other in a weird way. Weird, but I guess but I guess that's one way you could say that we need each other. Anyways, I'ma power down before I use all my resources up. You know, it's that one thing that we really don't want to ever do again. And that if it wasn't for your little, gravity quirk girlfriend and, that one hero you call Recovery Girl, we'd probably be 6 feet under right now. And Izuku's like, yeah, we probably should, power down ourselves. And that, indeed, would be the end of part 1 of What If Izuku Was Ultraman. Yeah, because Alon's the analysis, because the Dark Shadow Maverick is OUT out. And, once again, thank you, Dio Brando, for the suggestion. Anyways, bye.